Hey, welcome back. Episode 83 of Franco's World. This episode's going to be the first of its kind. I had to split up my interview with Mr. Chris into two parts just because I was running out of space on my podcast hosting site. So, part two of this episode will come out next week after the new year. Again, it's been a wild year. Let's do a little bit of reflection here before we get into the interview. In the interview, we talk a lot about sports. So if you've been yearning for some sports talk, it's there for you. And if you don't like the sports talk, well, there's 82 other episodes to listen to. So the year, I think, me personally, I'm sure a lot of people went through this as well, but I think I felt every emotion known to man in this year. You know, there was a lot of happiness and joy and relief. There was also a lot of love, and there was also heartbreak, and there was also sadness and a lot of worry. I think we've all felt that this year, and I really hope that this next year we come out of it stronger and better people, and it turned us into the like every decision you make leads you to where you're supposed to be. So just think about that. If you think you're not on the right path, it's like, well, it'll all work out in the end. So I hope you guys had a great holiday season. I know a lot of people can get sad around the holidays. I spoke about that on the show, and again, feel free to reach out to me if you're ever bummed out. I'm a resource for that. I want to be there for you guys because you guys are there for me. You guys sometimes these episodes turn into therapy sessions. I feel like, and it means a lot to me that you guys would carve time out of your life to listen to me. So thank you very much. With that being said, I finally started subscribing to charts, and I was number 93 in the stand up podcast charts in the United States for Apple. So number 93 got into the top 100. Cool. So that literally wouldn't happen without anybody listening. So thank you guys very much. I hope you enjoy the show today. Chris is a great comic, and I think we're pals now. Like we talk about the Knicks a lot. Like we DM each other about the Knicks. So we're boys. So it's cool that I made another friend on here. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode just as much as I enjoyed making it. Have a good day. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's episode, this could be 82 or 83. I don't know when it's going to come out. But ladies and gentlemen, I got a funny guy on the show. We recently did a Zoom gig together, and we had a ton of fun. He told this hilarious story about how he drank a bunch of cough syrup or something like that, but he's alive to tell the tale. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Lamadieu. Chris, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Franco?
Fantastic, man. Where can the people follow you at?
They can follow me at Chris Lamadieu on both Twitter and Instagram. That's Chris, Chris, Lamadieu, Lamadieu, on both Twitter and Instagram.
It's a gorgeous last name. Is that like French? What
It
is
is
that?
French by the way of Haiti, by the way of slavery.
Okay, well, that's on me, folks. And I'm back, and I'm back. I don't know how to recover from that. Chris, you're killing me. You're killing me, Chris. Okay. Let's start. Let's talk basketball, huh? Let's talk basketball. Go Knicks.
Basketball.
That's my team now.
Why are the Knicks your
That's
team,
my
though?
team.
Why are the Knicks like you? We were talking about it, and you just started getting into the NBA. Why of all the great things you could have in your life, you choose the Knicks?
Because I'm a glutton for punishment, and I love and I hate cheering for good things. It's
Really?
comedians at heart, I think, are what do you call it when you what do you call it when you want to be the opposite of just everything the entire time? It's the I can't believe I'm
Contrarian?
contrarian. Yeah, I think comedians are contrarians at heart, and I just don't want to cheer for a team that's winning all the time. That's no fun. I like it's kind of fun to have a little bit of losing involved. It makes it the wins feel much greater. Um, that and I just I love the turmoil. I think the Knicks have the best fans. I want to be a part of that fun fan base. It's a great venue. MSG is a great venue. Chris's phone is going bananas in the background. I almost had a
Yeah, I'm
brain
trying to stop
aneurysm.
it right now.
I'm trying to think of the reasons why I want to be a Knicks fan, and it's very hard for me to actually pin down reasons why I would choose to become a fan of the New York
So, like,
Knickerbockers.
for me, I've been a Knicks fan since birth.
Yeah.
So, like, even you see some of my baby pictures that I have just Knicks gear, and like, if I could be better, I would be better. Like, I would choose to be something else,
Other than a
but
Knicks
I'm
fan.
stuck. I'm stuck being a Knicks fan.
Well, yeah, you geographically speaking, you have to be a Knicks fan, and that stinks for you. But for me to choose this life, it's absolutely unheard of. You know, the closest basketball team to me is probably the Cavs. I think they're 3.5 hours away. Maybe the Wizards. I don't know. but like I just don't want to cheer for those teams.
I mean, the Wizards are going to have a solid year after trading for Russell Westbrook, and so are, would you say, the Philadelphia? Philadelphia's going to make the playoffs. They're one of the top teams in the East. Like I said, I've been a Knicks fan for 28 years, and it's mostly been suffering.
Right.
So,
The
like,
last time you were good was when my boy D'Antoni. He's a West Virginia guy, even though he's got a super Italian name. He's a West Virginia guy, and he led them to victory.
yeah, we made the playoffs. That was the Carmelo, Tyson Chandler,
Raymond Felton.
J.R. Smith team.
I think Raymond Felton, Amari Stoudemire were on that team.
Yeah, and like, what was that? That had to be early. I want to say 2000, some early in the 2000 teens.
Right. And the funny thing is, it's like that was a team that prided themselves on defense. And you look at D'Antoni when he went to the Rockets, it's like pace and space, 3-pointers. I don't care about defense. We're just going to outscore you.
Dude, and that's the crazy thing, because like D'Antoni, even in Phoenix, he was the 7-second offense, where he wanted to get into the offense early in the clock.
Yeah.
Him and Nash and Stoudemire.
Right.
He's always been an offensive, they call him an offensive genius. But like, that has never translated to championships at all.
I wanted to so bad, and now he's the assistant coach at Brooklyn, and I wanted him to get the head job back with the Knicks, and they gave it to Tibbs, who's a fine coach, but like D'Antoni had success with the Knicks. It's crazy he didn't get to go back to that.
It's weird that with the people who have the success, again, the heart of the Knicks problem isn't, it goes all the way to the top.
Chris. It's all ownership.
Ownership. We have the worst ownership in the NBA.
He'd much rather.
Like,
this will get us banned. This podcast will get us banned from MSG. But I feel like he'd much rather worry about his ska band than he would, buying a good point guard.
Exactly, and and the thing is, the Knicks make money regardless. I once had a conversation with somebody, like, when other organizations are bad, people don't buy tickets. They don't show up to games.
Yep.
Madison Square Garden sells tickets regardless if the Knicks are bad or if they're good.
Right. You're absolutely right, man. It's the Mecca. It's a great venue. People are always going to go see games there. And he owns the Cleveland Indians too in baseball, and they're about to get rid of their best player arguably in the last 20 years of Francisco Lindor because they can't afford him.
He owns that too. We shouldn't stop this guy from owning things.
I mean, but I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
He just seems like the worst person ever.
The thing is about going back to D'Antoni in basketball, his younger brother Dan D'Antoni, which is a hilarious name. It's a cartoon Italian mobster, Dan D'Antoni. It's so funny. He coaches one of the Division I teams, Marshall University here in West Virginia, and he runs that like really fast chuck up trays. Their entire team, they recruit a lot of international players too, but their entire team can shoot the threes, but then they have one big man who's like 6'10", 6'11", and he just stays in the middle and rebounds. That's all he does.
Dude, it feels like the NBA is getting away from the big man, and analytics wise, they want you to shoot more threes and more layups.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
It was the whole system in Houston was there's no real post play.
No.
It's threes or at the basket.
Absolutely, and get fouled and go to the free throw line. James Harden shoot free throws.
Yep.
And the funny thing is, it's like the big men are dying, and I was talking about this the other day. And when I get obsessed with something, Chris, I have to know everything about it. So you hear me talking basketball, and it sounds like I know what I'm talking about. This is new information. Okay, so NBA now, you see positionless players up and down the floor. You're 6'8", you can shoot the lights out and dribble like no other. That's what you are. You know what I mean?
And then you get unicorns like Porzingis. I want to call Kevin Durant a unicorn because he is technically 7 foot.
Yeah, and Luka and all these guys.
Well, anyone who's like 7 foot and could do all of it and could still move, and they also plug those in. But you're right. They prided the Celtics. The Celtics loved calling themselves positionless basketball. Which, again, they trotted out everybody who was around 6'8".
Jason Tatum, he's really tall.
Jason Tatum. They had Kemba at the 1.
They have Marcus Smart, who's like my top 5 most hated players. I hate Marcus Smart.
I love Marcus Smart.
Why? Because he's gritty. You like it?
He plays both ways. He plays defense and he'll play offense. Like, there's such a rarity in sports now that you get
so much for me. I hate it.
I love two-way players. Kawhi Leonard, awesome two-way player.
One of my favorite. I loved Matt Barnes. He was one of my favorite players. He was a two-way guy.
That era in basketball. Well, there was this really good article about the enforcer in basketball. um, the NBA getting rid of the enforcer position in basketball to clean up their image, and it was by Kenyon Martin, which was
Oh,
one of the best. Was New Jersey's the New Jersey Nets
yep,
enforcer
yep. He played
back
on
when
that
he
team
was
with
Jason Kidd.
RJ and Nenad Kristich, I think, was on the team and all that.
Yep, and like he was like those were the guys you put in who could rebound, but they were also there to let you guys know, hey, we're not going to be walked over. He made the point of calling Kevin Garnett a fake tough guy. He was like, when
Wow.
I was in the league, Kevin Garnett wasn't talking all that nonsense. He was like, every team had an enforcer, but the NBA had to clean up their image, so they got rid of it. And I was like, yo, bring back the enforcer position because that was like one of the staples in defense.
Yeah.
Kurt Thomas in the late '90s was like, hey, you're gonna dribble down the middle once, and you only got that once, and then the next time you get an elbow.
Yeah, man. I'm absolutely with you. I think that's why I like college basketball so much is because they actually you see multiple styles of ball, and in the NBA, it's just becoming pace and space. They're all 6'8" guys that just do everything, and I don't know. I kind of look a little bit of difference with the college game.
I think college is the purest form of basketball still,
I I
because
I, I agree.
you'll still have the. I love seeing a team of seniors who aren't gonna go to the end. These guys are future accountants, and like regular dudes are gonna beat a team full of NBA
That's
stars.
true because they play better team ball. You know, they can shoot foul shots better or something.
Exactly, they play that's their system.
Well, West Virginia is a prime example of that. Our coach, Bobby Huggins, he refuses to take these one and done guys, and he always cultivates these teams that go on runs. Always have good seasons, stuff like that. Run the press Virginia action on it, and
I love Bob Huggins again, great defensive coach. He'll literally he could switch from that press Virginia and he'll play in the zone with his big guys, and you won't get down the middle. They'll force you to shoot, and if you're not a good shooting team, you'll have a terrible night against West Virginia.
we give up a ton of corner threes that do kill me. I was at the game when Kentucky came up to Morgantown when I was still in college up there, and this was like I think Kevin Knox. Is he a Kentucky guy?
Yes,
And I think he might have been on the team and was just shooting the lights out from the corner. And we were like hanging in there. And I was like, oh my gosh, we can knock off this top Kentucky team. Kevin Knox just bang, 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 killed me. And now he stinks it on ice for the Knicks. He sucks.
oh dude. Yesterday when they came back to win, he was hitting lights out. I was losing my mind. But like that goes back again. Being in college, I was at Rutgers when we played. I want to say we beat a UConn team that had Andre Drummond, and I think there was one year we beat them where we had Kevin. They beat Kemba Walker,
Yeah. What
and
years? What years were you there?
I was there from 2010 to
Ooh.
2012, and then I
So
finished
you got to
college.
watch, and we could do a whole hour on this. You got to watch good Big East basketball.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, dude. Old Big East. Oh, the rack was crazy. And I actually, one of the Big East matchups, I got to go to. I went to MSG to watch a couple of the tournament games, and then I was had a friend that lived in Syracuse, so I went there to see a few games.
Nice.
And Big East basketball was so good back then. Well, even before then, but I missed the old Big East.
Me too, bro. Me too. Take me back to like 2008, 2009. I'm waking up on a Saturday, college game day basketball's on, and I get to watch a noon tip off against Providence and the Johnnies. And it's a raucous game. Take me back to that. Even DePaul.
I
I
remember
watched
getting
DePaul.
I remember getting curb stomped by Jamie Dixon and Pitt, like real Big East times.
Yeah.
Going back to John Thompson at George, seeing
Oh
John
my
Thompson at
gosh, yes.
Georgetown. Well, John Thompson the second. Like man, it was. I miss that because I think these new like in the age of money, breaking down the Big East was the best basketball conference. Period.
Period. Absolutely right.
Like second to the Ace. Like ACC might have had star power up top, but dwindled at the bottom. The Big East was solid from top to bottom,
Absolutely
and when
right.
they broke it apart, I was upset.
There was no breaks in the Big East, bro. You would even even Marquette would come through with good teams every now and again. There was no breaks.
Like the breaking it down for money for football was the worst thing to me because it was like all these schools that were close together in proximity, and they just didn't. They recruited well. They recruited the same people, so they didn't like each other.
Right, and like you'd have guys from the same neighborhoods or the same boroughs go up against each other, and they had something to prove. It was something a little bit extra, and I want West Virginia so badly to get out of the Big 12. Man, they're just not a Big 12 team. It does not match our geographic location. Like we need to get into the ACC. You know what I mean?
That's the way to bring your school back. You guys need to, because you guys were like you guys had those good basketball, football teams, but you guys were a basketball school when once Bob Huggins was. When Bob Huggins took over. I remember when you guys were in the when you guys were in the Big East. You guys were still dominating. You guys made those tournament runs then.
Yeah, yeah, and I just like we have no rivals in the in going back to the rivalries you're talking about. We have no rivals in the Big 12. Like we get to fly, like our fans can't go to any games because the closest game is in Iowa, which is not close at all. And I want to go back to the ACC. Like I want to be able to play Virginia Tech, Pitt, even Miami used to be a little bit of an issue. Regular Virginia, we could just go University of Virginia. I want to play these teams again.
That'd be a perfect conference for you guys.
Again, it's all money. You're absolutely right. It's all when they're breaking it down for money in football. It just you're absolutely right, man.
Football breakup, and like the thing to me is like Rutgers left to the Big East for football to go to the Big Ten.
Oh, they got to get out of there. They got to get out of there.
Yeah, and they're basement dwellers in the pit in the Big Ten in football. This year we're actually good in
Now
basketball.
Shiano is a good coach. He will probably bring them back.
He'll bring them back, but like, was it worth it? I mean, I guess it was worth it to get the money for all those years in the Big Ten, but like now we're a ranked basketball team.
Are you a football guy too, or are you a football guy at all?
I'm a football guy.
Okay.
I'll watch all sports.
Okay, good. Because I also want to talk about this Big East football, folks. Chris, one day I'm going to need you to break it down to your kids. There was a point in time in history where UConn, University of South Florida, and Rutgers were all ranked in football at the same time.
Dude, those are crazy. That's crazy that you remember that.
Think about that. UConn, UConn
UConn,
ranked in football.
That's crazy because they had a kid from Staten Island at running back, and I remember, like he would pop up on my on my like notifications, but like we're never gonna see that again.
No,
UConn's never gonna be ranked in football ever again.
they're moving down to 1AA. They're done.
Really,
Yeah,
that's heartbreaking.
that is. But they're a basketball school. Just embrace the basketball. You know, I don't know if
But
the
their
women's
basketball
team brings in
program
any
isn't that
money.
great anymore.
What's that?
Their basketball program has been having what, a down couple of years.
Yeah, did they fire Kevin Ollie?
Yeah, they fired Kevin Ollie. Danny, one of the Hurley brothers, is the
Oh
coach now.
yeah. You're right. He's a hothead. He gets pumped up. Yeah,
Dude, their father was a hothead.
yeah.
They- one of them's a coach at ASU, and one of them's a coach at UConn.
Right. The one at ASU was at Buffalo. I miss. I had a buddy. I was a baseball scout like a season ago, something like that, season and a half ago. And one of my closest work friends went to St. John's, so he got me onto the Johnnies train, and I like watching them play ball. But it bothers me that Mullen isn't the coach anymore. He is St. John's.
Dude, they replaced Mullins?
Yeah, he's not there anymore.
That's crazy.
I'm almost positive. I'll look it up right now as we speak. But go ahead.
One of my brother's friends is actually their starting point guard.
No kidding.
Yeah, I forgot what's his name. I have to text my brother. Something more or something.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's not the coach anymore at the Johnnies.
Dude, my dad used to tell me stories about that St. John's team because my dad lived in Queens, so he
Oh
was
yeah,
like that was the team you went to in the like they used to be ranked all the time. They were a basketball school, and now they barely register.
dude. Chris Mullen. I remember there was that documentary. It was ESPN. Oh, the Requiem for the Big East. Did you ever watch that on ESPN?
No, what was that?
It was just about. It's a really good story about the the conception of the Big East and how it broke apart at the end. It just tells the tale of the conference and how they rose to prominence by like playing these random Tuesday night basketball games and them focusing on recruiting locally and being lucky that ESPN was in Connecticut in a small company. It's really cool.
I need to watch that, but like, dude, like the Big East tournament at MSG used to be the thing to watch.
It was the thing.
Like,
Yep.
in the sports world, like just like SEC was in football, the Big East was in basketball.
Absolutely, man. West Virginia, we went on a couple runs. I think we got a couple Big East titles. Think we did it. Yeah.
Dude, those used to be the Jamie Dixon pits, Bob Huggins,
Those were
West
fights. I would
Virginia,
go to those games. Those were
um,
literal fights on a basketball court.
Jim Calhoun at UConn, and Bobby Thompson and Bobby Thompson II at Georgetown. Those were crazy times.
Who's the guy that's at Providence? I like him. He's always got a good team. I forgot his name though.
Ed Cooley, I think it's Cooley.
Cooley, yeah, and Cooley says this thing, and you can quote me on it. He says that the Providence home court, wherever that is the first home, but he says MSG is our second home, which is always funny to me because it's like I'm pretty sure St. John's plays games in MSG as like the
Yeah,
second
they
home.
do. That's
Ed,
but those like Big East tournament at MSG was always like a staple, right? And it was right before March Madness, so you would go straight from that tournament
yeah, wall to wall
and beating the
basketball,
shit out of each
wall to
other.
wall basketball.
That made me so. This conversation makes me miss that so
You know
much.
what the crazy thing is? I'm such a weirdo. I'm most likely tonight. I'm probably gonna watch old like Big East football games on my laptop before I go to bed. Like I will watch. I will watch a ranked Rutgers. I will watch Pandemonium in Piscataway. That kick that got
Nah,
hit. I will watch that.
dude, the Big Ten Network sometimes runs old games, and I'm just like, dude, the Big East was like we were mediocre at football,
Yeah.
but we had some good some great players came out of there.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously Ray Rice came out of there, and didn't there was a big linebacker came out of there too. I forgot his name.
Uh, for a while, the Patriots
Oh, the
would
McCourties. The
always
McCourties. Yeah.
pick up would always pick up a Rutgers player in the draft.
Yeah. Yeah. And now McCourty ended up being like one of the best corners in football.
Yep, Jason and the twins.
Yeah, the Twins.
His brother plays for the Patriots now. Both of them do.
Yep, absolutely right, man. Um, for me, Big East. I mean, that's my entire childhood. With Rich Rod running that spread option stuff with Pat White and Steve Slate and Noel Devine in West Virginia. And I just want to go back to making games matter. I feel like games don't matter in the Big 12 because it's like, oh, great, we get to fly to Oklahoma, fly to Texas 3 times a year to play all those teams. It's just annoying. I want to get in the ACC. I'll play Rutgers. What should Rutgers do? What do you propose they do? How do they get out of the Big Ten?
So right now, again they should leave. I've missed the Big East, but they're doing well in basketball now. I feel like we're gonna shift from a football school to a basketball school because right now we're ranked number 19 in basketball,
Uh-huh.
and Steve Peichel has taken the program from being again bottom dwellers in the Big Ten into last year we were going to make the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
So the people are going to say what Greg Schiano's going to bring football back, but I think as long as you have Steve Peichel doing fairly well, and right now the Big Ten is I want to say the conference in basketball. They have the most ranked teams,
Uh-huh.
and Rutgers is going to finish towards the top. I think you should just embrace the basketball school at this point, and if you want to get out of the Big Ten, the only way you leave the Big Ten is if you bring back the Big East, and this way you're playing the UConns, you're playing
I mean, you got to
Pitt.
get I'm trying to think of the team that's in the I think Colorado's like in the Pac-12, like take them
Mhm.
out and put them in the Big 10 and then do a whole thing. I don't know, it's a whole thing.
I remember when the conferences were breaking apart, and they were thinking of doing an ACC North and an ACC South.
I don't remember that. I might have been a little bit too young.
That was like a small conversation where because it was going to be Syracuse
Oh yeah.
leaving,
Oh yeah, we're
Pitt
we're
leaving.
forgetting Syracuse and Bayheim and the Carrier Dome
Yep.
and wow.
So they got those teams, and they were also going to take UConn for basketball, and then maybe Rutgers. But then Rutgers was like, "Now we're going to go towards the Big Ten," and then UConn did the American Conference.
Yeah.
But there was a small talk about ACC North and ACC South.
I don't remember that. Wow. I'm gonna have to look that up. I like weird history stuff like that. A lot of failed experiments. That's fun stuff. Going back to Knicks though. Going back to the Knicks. They drafted Obi Toppin. They need a guard. Nobody wants to come to them in free agency. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming the Knicks are going to stink this year. Like they're going to play really bad and pick up a
Fade for Cade.
who?
Fade for Cade
Cade
Cunningham.
Cunningham. Yeah.
point guard from OSU, Oklahoma State.
Yeah. I think they might have like cheated to get him or something like that. I don't think Oklahoma State's allowed to go to postseason basketball this year.
They're not. I don't know if they cheated to get him, but I know they gave themselves a self-imposed ban.
Oh, that's a cheap way out. Oh, we're gonna self-impose, like, dude, this year.
LSU didn't
Oh my,
self-impose themselves this year.
that's so soft. Like, it doesn't even matter. This year, every sport that has to deal with the 2019, 2020, maybe even 2021 pandemic, it's like they're all going to have asterisks by it, kind of. It doesn't really matter, which we could talk about the asterisk with the NBA bubble championship, which I don't think there should necessarily be an asterisk by that one.
I don't think there should be. I think the NBA bubble was the smartest way to handle handle sports during this time,
It was
during the
so
pandemic.
cool, bro. The NBA bubble kind of turned me into an NBA fan just because it was like, okay, this is the only sport that's going on. You're gonna and I'm a baseball guy, but it's like you're
Mhm.
gonna have to watch it. And then I fell in love with it, and I fell in love with Tyler Hero, and his rookie card is gonna pay for my kid's
That
college fund.
Miami team, crazy.
I spent way too much money on Tyler Hero rookie card, so hopefully I can flip it and give my kid a couple grand for college.
But like that's the thing about. I think they handled it the smartest. They spent
I don't
a
have a kid.
couple of
I want to preface that I don't have a kid. This is future kid. Sorry.
they spent a couple of million to save probably billions.
That's the thing. Yeah, everybody was gonna lose money. It's just how can you limit the damage?
And I with football, like you want with the NBA. The NBA is a star-driven league.
Mm-hmm.
We watch for the LeBron
Yes.
Jameses. We watch
Yes.
for the the Damian Lillards and whatnot.
Yes.
So like, if they get COVID, we're not watching this.
Yeah.
Like, they lose. The more stars you lose, the less we're gonna watch it. Football never got that. So and thank God they haven't lost anybody to COVID.
As much as I love CJ McCollum, he's not the main reason I'm watching the Trailblazers. He's an
Absolutely
add-on.
not.
He's an add-on.
He's a plus. He's a plus at
He's
best.
a +1 to the wedding.
Like the football never got that, and thank God we haven't lost anybody anybody to COVID in football. But like the way these teams handled it, I just think was somewhat poor.
I think
Like
football is just playing through COVID. I think players are getting it left and right, and they're just forcing them to play. I think that's what's happening.
really,
Yeah.
I think that if someone told me, if someone on the inside told me that, I'd be like, that's probably true. Like they fudge the COVID numbers on the football fields.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
totally, bro. I mean, what happened the other week with Lamar or something like that? He had it, but then he comes back in a week. But I don't know how it works, man. And they said Des Bryant can't play, and they walk him off the field, but then he's negative. It's so weird, bro.
Again, they're punishing teams for not following protocol. But I'm like, this whole league, you guys should have just got a campus or like got a few campuses and just done a everybody plays conference and then play out of conference for playoffs.
I understand it's much tougher than football than it is like the MLS. The MLS like did a little opening season tournament down in Florida, and baseball had their playoff bubble where they play in those neutral site stadiums and stuff like that. I think football is just too difficult with the amount of bodies to do it.
56, like, yeah.
Not only that, with the coaching staff and the trainers and everything, it's just too much, I think.
For them, they would have to sacrifice, because with the NBA, you guys are living in basically hotel rooms on for football, again, too many bodies. You'd basically have to be on like a college campus.
Yeah. You'd have to rent out like 3 dorms in a
Yeah,
college
you guys
campus.
are living in dorms.
You'd
be asking these millionaires to live in dorms.
Dude, the commitment though, and nobody's talking about this really. Like the commitment to the NBA players to be, especially, and you can be a LeBron guy or not. I myself am a LeBron guy. I've been a fan of his for a long time. I love his work ethic, and he's talking about how like if anybody even got close to leaving the building, like how mad the whole like it's a commitment to it, and like I just love to see the commitment to the excellence there.
You got to respect, like, if we're all got to be down here sacrificing time with our families and our lives, like, make it worth it. Stay the course. And by the way, I never got LeBron hate. Like, just to be honest with you, never got LeBron hate at all.
It's very easy, Chris. It's very easy to hate greatness. Very easy. I choose to respect greatness in all aspects. If anybody's great in something, like I'm a Dolphins fan. I love the Miami Dolphins. I always have. I don't know why. Okay, but I Tom Brady, I kind of have to respect. You have to respect that.
Like LeBron is to me. We were told at a very young age that this kid was the next big thing,
Right.
and we're always sold on the next big thing, whether it pans out or not. LeBron was given great expectations at the age of
16
18,
or whatever,
17,
and he
18,
hasn't faltered.
and hasn't faltered once, and exceeded them in some levels.
People are trying to bring him down left and right. Look what he's doing for the city of Cleveland, opening up these schools for underprivileged kids. He's now opening up like a boys and girls club for like adults for some, I don't know what it is, where people can learn financial literacy. Like he's just a
Yep.
genuinely good guy.
There's this really good podcast. It's a podcast series about Freddie Adu. And do you remember Freddie Adu?
Ooh. Yeah, they compared him to Pele. Yeah.
Yeah. So it talks about that. It talks about the steps in which, like he was a prodigy that never made it.
Right.
But they go into in-depth interviews with people around him and Freddie about what happened to him along the way, and you see, like, between the people around him, the people pumping money into Freddie, and just, I want to say, bad circumstances for Freddie. He faltered and never became that prodigy, even though he still went on to have a pro career elsewhere
Right.
in the outside of the U.S.
All right. So that was part one with Chris Lamadieu, my boy. Again, hope you guys had a great holiday season, and I hope you have a great New Year's. I will be watching Andy Cohen rip shots on CNN and doing a lot of reflecting. That's what I like to do around New Year's and stuff like that. We're gonna go after 2021 with a vengeance. We're going at it hard. I know everyone's going at it hard. There will be a lot of everyone will indulge in excess. Hopefully that leads to success. That was stupid. I hate myself. That's the dumbest joke I made, and that's what I lead going into the new year. God. All right. Well, I can't live with myself after that one. All right. See you guys. have a good new year, and hope the best for you in the upcoming year. See ya.